All right, this is it, guys. Democrats have just secured their downfall with this one. So the Federal Election Commission just opened an investigation into Democrat rising star Congresswoman Representative Jasmine Crockett. Yep, that's right, guys. So it turns out all of her huffing and puffing may have just been her way of distracting people from some pretty massive corruption. Questions were raised regarding donations to her 2024 campaign made through ActBLUE. This is a Democratic funding powerhouse organization. Anyway, the complaints reference a specific suspect donor reported to have given 53 separate donations totaling $595 to Jasmine Crockett's campaign through the ActBLUE portal. Now, the suspect donor was a 73-year-old Texas resident named Randy Best, but Best's wife denied knowing anything about the donations. The complaint contends this possibly means that Best and potentially other donors through ActBLUE did not make donations listed under their names. So we got the full clip for you guys. I'm going to share it with you guys later. And apparently some Democrats had even started considering Jasmine Crockett as their next presidential candidate. Are you freaking serious? Can you imagine Jasmine Crockett running the United States instead of Trump? Anyway, thank goodness former CNN political analyst Chris Silza poured some cold water on that idea, as he said that Jasmine Crockett would be a disastrous presidential candidate or nominee for her party due to their far left policies and tone. Now, speaking of the far radical left, there's also Senator Bernie Sanders. Now, good old Bernie used to cry about the millionaires, until he became a millionaire. And so now he's complaining about the billionaires that are the real problem. In fact, Elon Musk just posted a compilation of Bernie Sanders' rants over the last 30 years about the U.S. moving toward oligarchy. And true enough, the Vermont senator was just bragging at his latest rally with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on their Fighting Oligarchy tour. Yeah, that's right, guys. He says that this was their largest stop yet, but then again, they were in downtown Los Angeles. So I would be surprised if their liberal supporters didn't show up. You know what I mean, guys? Anyway, you want to talk about speaking truth to power? Elon Musk also called out the Democratic Party in a post on X. One official in particular, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. You see, Elon Musk, he floated this idea that the reason why Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is fighting so hard against Doge is because he and probably his Democratic colleagues are somehow profiting off of government fraud. Because they say that the campaign against Elon Musk's company is hardly a grassroots movement. Last month, a wave of more than 200 protests targeting Tesla properties erupted across the United States. Now, some people who have been looking into it are saying that both the number of protest sites and the timeline of events suggests a coordinated event. Now, the question is, does all of this spell doom for the Democratic Party? Now, we're going to find out in today's videos for sure. So just stay right there, guys. We're diving in today. Now, hey, guys, just a quick heads up. You'll be glad you heard. Now, I found a real gem when it comes to Medicare help. It's called Chapter, and they seriously deliver. Now, if you or someone you care about is on Medicare or turning 65 years old soon, don't go it alone. Their expert team will walk you through every plan in your area. They're going to make sure that your doctors are covered, and they will also check to see if you qualify for any extra benefits. They check every single plan out there and save most seniors around $1,100 a year. And yes, it's 100% free. So call my friends over at Chapter. Their phone number is 909-563-8279. You should see it on your screen right now, or head over to askchapter.org/Ron. Totally worth it. Starting off with this one, Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett being investigated by the FEC for a corruption complaint. Now, suddenly, we're understanding why she's making all this controversial noise over the media. It's to try and distract the people from what's actually happening behind the scenes. I mean, she literally just talked about illegal immigrants and connected it to slavery. Here, watch.
The Democrats are starting to sound more like shock jocks than serious lawmakers as the loudest voices in the room step into the leadership void. Rising star Jasmine Crockett is the MVP of attention seeking, and she's defending the need for illegal immigrants with this shocking take.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands. You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
Democrats can showboat all they want, But at the end of the day, they are lacking that authenticity that makes President Trump a hit with the voters. Even Bill Maher gets it.
Trump really is one of the most effective politicians, whatever you think of the policy and him as a person. Always lean in to being more who you are. The people are not savvy about issues, but they smell a phony a mile away. Democrats have to come up with an alpha, and it's not Tim Walz.
Okay, Greg, why is it that only Maher sees that there's no masculinity in the Democrat Party and the rest of them can't see it?
I thought Jasmine was pretty masculine there. I think authenticity is, I guess, linked to action. Like you get to know somebody by what they do. And I think right now the Democrats are a collection of lightweights. Theater kids who, instead of actually going to class, focus on the external appeal of identity politics. She's changed based on identity politics. It's never what I do, it's who I am. So this new guy comes in, Trump, and he does stuff, who acts instead of, acts. So by comparison, you can kind of see their grift. They seem very silly, and having an allied media that enables you, it doesn't help, because like when Harold comes to the 5, it's like he comes to the gym. His ideas, he has to work out his ideas because there's opposition. But for most Democrats, all Democrats outside of Fox, they don't have that gym. They don't go out and work out. So you have Jasmine there, basically using the same justification for illegal immigration that you would for slavery. It's just a few iterations in between. It's also the driving force for a lot of globalism. I really love my iPhone and my Nike shoes as long as I don't see the ages and the condition of the people making it.
Now, I agree. I mean, farming is so much more than picking cotton. This argument is so old and overdone. Now, dare I say, you could even call it racist. They say Crocket Gate is coming. Me, I say Crocket is just tired at this point. Now, if I were them, the Democrats, I would say that, it's time for her to retire. If you support Jasmine Crockett retiring, type in retire in the comments, guys. But just watch this one of attorney Sheldon Daniels, who's running against Crocket. He went to one of those houses to confirm the couple's contribution to Jasmine Crockett, and they're saying that they had no idea what those charges were. So here, take a look.
How do you do, ma'am?
No soliciting.
I'm not here. I'm not a solicitor. I'm attorney Sheldon Daniels.
Okay.
Is there a Randy Best who lives here?
That's my husband.
Yeah. I just want to verify. Are you guys aware that you were charged over $16,000 last year? Yeah.
What?
I have a list of charges. I'm just here to verify that you guys know about this. $16,240 in political contributions to a candidate named Jasmine Crockett. Do you remember that at all? Does your husband remember that at all?
I don't know. He's on the road on his way to Colorado.
Okay. It says here that he's not employed. Is he employed now?
No, we're retired.
Okay. I can leave this with you if you want. It's got your information on it.
Yeah, you can just leave it on the table.
Yes, ma'am. You mind if I take a picture?
Go ahead.
All right, thank you. Okay, guys, so I just drove by the home of this Randy Best guy. This guy, he's a 73-year-old retiree, unemployed. He and his wife, I guess they just travel around in an RV or something. I don't know. But he's on the road. His wife answered the door. She said that they had no idea what these charges were. And they had no idea that they were charged $16,000 or that they are responsible for $16,000 in political contributions to Jasmine Crockett. Yes, she has them listed as political contributors. Now, mind you, I'm way up here in Plano. I'm in a totally different county. I'm in Collin County right now. The only reason why I'm even able to do this is because I practice law all over North Texas and I drive all over. So I know North Texas very well. Collin County, Dallas County, Tarrant County, Denton County, Grayson County. A lot of shady stuff going on with Jasmine Crockett. And I see why she was doing all this. Because she's trying to distract from the corruption. I wonder how deep it goes.
I mean, she was caught on video assault and battery against a journalist. Why hasn't she been arrested yet? Charges were pressed. Maybe it's time to move on from the investigation and get on with the handcuffs and the perp walks, huh? But yeah, guys, hey, maybe this FEC investigation is just the beginning of the Jasmine Crockett takedown. The Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, a conservative advocacy group, made the FEC complaint on March 26. On April the 2nd, the FEC notified the Coolidge-Reagan Foundation that it would review the matter and notify Crockett, because apparently donors through ActBLUE may not have actually made the donations listed under their names. The bigger picture is that Jasmine Crockett's campaign received about $870,000 in total donations through ActBLUE. So the question is just how much of that money was actually legit? Or, as the FEC complaint put it, it's unclear how many of these are similarly fraudulent transactions made in the name of the unsuspecting innocent people who did not actually provide the funds. Because there have been other reports that several elderly Americans said that they were not aware of ActBLUE donations in their name. In fact, Republican State Attorney General, as well as the GOP-controlled House Oversight and Accountability Committee, they have also opened up an investigation into ActBLUE's fundraising practices. Now, as for Jasmine Crockett in particular, Dan Backer, a Washington lawyer, represented the Coolidge-Reagan Foundation, pointed out that it could be a reasonable defense for her and other Democrats to say, hey, they didn't solicit those donations. They all came in from ActBLUE. But that would be willful blindness. Problem is, legally, the campaign committee treasurer is responsible for due diligence. The treasurer could say that they had absolute confidence in ActBLUE, but ActBLUE has been under investigation by state and federal authorities. That excuse may have worked a year ago, but not today, Satan, not today. And now they're actually talking about Crockett as a presidential nominee for Democrats. Here's former CNN political analyst Chris Silza bringing some reality to the Democrat delusion. Here, watch this.
D-Slav says, I really like Jasmine Crockett, Gretchen Whitmer, Amy Klobuchar, and Jahana Hayes for president. Well, Jasmine Crockett would be a disaster as the Democratic nominee. You think that AOC could cost Democrats? Jasmine Crockett is way more to the left, and tonally, it's probably similar in terms of issues, but tonally way to the left of AOC and way outside of the norms. Jasmine Crockett is great if you're a Democratic activist type. Fine. She's saying everything you want to hear. The problem is Democratic activists alone don't win you the presidency or even come close.
Now, you heard him, guys. Jasmine Crockett would be a disaster as the Democratic nominee. Crockett is like way more to the left and tonally way to the left of AC and way outside of the norms. Now, apart from that picking comment nonsense, Crockett actually said recently that she was rooting for Canada and Mexico due to their opposition to Trump's administration at the time. But hey, from a Republican strategy standpoint, Jasmine Crockett would be the ideal opponent in 2028. And honestly, I would hope Democrats go all in on her. I mean, she's got energy, she's outspoken, she grabs attention, but that's the exact problem right there. Her brand is built on social media, not for a national general election. She doesn't have the kind of broad appeal that wins over swing voters in key battleground states. Independents and moderates are never going to go and connect with that kind of far left ratchet positioning. And politically speaking, she's untested at the national level. The baggage, the sound bites, the lack of proven track record outside of her district, all of this becomes a huge liability in a presidential election race. So if Democrats want to nominate her, I say go ahead and go for it. That's the opponent that Republicans should want, and frankly, the one that gives them the best chance of retaking the White House. And so this is why Republicans should just go ahead and let her run her mouth and let the people decide her fate and the Democrats' fate right along with it. You know what I mean, guys? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below, guys. Also hit the like button if I'm making sense to you. So from one firebrand to another, let's go ahead and move on over to Senator Bernie Sanders. So here he was with AOC over the weekend at their latest rally, bragging about the 36,000 people who attended the event. It's the Fighting Oligarchy tour, but you see, Elon Musk, he has pointed out that the good old Bernie Sanders has been singing this tired tune for quite a while already. Here's a compilation over the last 30 years. Watch.
This great country of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy. The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly moving toward. This is a budget that moves our country rapidly into the direction of oligarchy. A handful of billionaires are moving this entire planet toward an oligarchic society.
Start off with the bad news, which is pretty bad, and that is that under Donald Trump, this country is hurtling rapidly toward oligarchy.
You see, Bernie Sanders has been talking about this nonstop over a huge chunk of his political career, even ran for presidency on the issue quite a few times. But here we are. We seem to be doing okay with no oligarchic boogeyman in sight. In fact, we even got Elon Musk with his Department of Government Efficiency calling truth to power. He posted just recently that he's starting to think Chuck Schumer is getting a piece of the action with the government fraud. But no, that couldn't possibly be the reason why the Senate minority leader seems so against Doge, could it? Elon Musk made the comment in response to a post in which Chuck Schumer accused Doge of sabotaging Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Not to mention this Tesla takedown campaign. The media is trying to sell this thing as some kind of a grassroots protest movement against Elon Musk and Tesla. But when you really kind of like get digging, it looks a lot more like a coordinated professional activist campaign, not a bunch of random people with signs. Over 200 protests popped up across the country, but most of them were barely attended. And yet they were super organized, scheduled through tools that cost thousands of dollars per month. Guys, that's not grassroots. That's funded strategic organizing. Some people are saying, hey, maybe George Soros was behind this. And here's where it gets even deeper. Around the same time, Tesla locations were getting hit with firebomb attacks in Oregon, Colorado, and South Carolina. Now, the media acts like these violent acts are separate from protests, but there's a tactic at play here. It's called diversity of tactics. So here's how it works. So you've got the peaceful protesters out front, media friendly, waving signs, looking wholesome, right? But then there's the middle tier. You got people blocking traffic, causing disruption, civil disobedience, that type of stuff. And then the third level, you've got finally the militant tier. That's right, guys. You got the militant tier. These are the ones who are willing to pretty much do the illegal stuff, vandalism, firebombing, sabotage. Now, these groups, they don't work together, but they strategically benefit from one another. So the peaceful wing draws the media, the militant wing, they turn up the heat, and the leadership gets to say, hey, we don't condone violence. Meanwhile, they're still benefiting from the chaos. Now, the group behind this, people like Jeff Ordower, a professional organizer with deep ties to radical activist groups, going all the way back to Occupy Wall Street and Ferguson, if you guys can remember back that far. And yes, let's just say that these aren't new players in the domestic terrorism realm. So no, this isn't some organic uprising. This is a pressure campaign. Elon Musk and Tesla are just the current targets. It's all about using protests and fear together to amplify or apply pressure, damage reputation, and also push a political agenda. It's not activism the way that most people think of it. It's calculated, it's layered disruption. And whether or not you support Elon Musk, we should all be paying attention to how these movements actually work behind the scenes. And hey guys, I keep getting messages from you guys, comments saying, hey Ron, I keep missing your videos. I keep missing the breaking news. Can you please make sure I get notified? So I've taken care of you guys. All you got to do is hit the link in the description down below this video or in the pinned comment and join the breaking news newsletter. That's it. Totally free. In short, they're afraid of the crackdown Trump and Elon Musk were executing in the White House, and these violent protests, that's their way of disrupting the system. So what do you guys think? Is this going to work against Team Trump, or are we witnessing the last dying moments of a corrupt party? Drop a quick comment down below. Let's get a conversation started. And if you want more in-depth discussions like this one, then check out our recommended videos that are about to come up next. As always, appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.